Hi guys, and welcome to episode, I think it's 36 of the Stringing It Together podcast. I am Becky, your host, coming to you from Frankfurt, Germany, where I live with my 2 cats. And I'm happy to be back with you guys today. It is Friday evening, and I definitely meant to do this earlier in the day, but life got in the way, but we're doing it. It is August 31st. Which is an exciting day for me actually, because it is the 2-year anniversary exactly of when I arrived in Germany. So that's kind of surreal. It feels like a lot longer and a lot shorter. You know, it's just kind of weird. I'm putting on the screen where you can find me on social media. I am sopranoknits on Instagram and Ravelry. And yeah, we also have a Ravelry group for the podcast, and you can go join there as well. You can find my designs on Ravelry, both through my my handle sopranoknits, and then also through searching my name. And they'll be linked below. My email newsletter is linked below. There are lots of things everywhere. So anyway, yeah, so I hope you guys are doing well. The weather has cooled off here quite a bit, which is lovely. Although it's a little bittersweet because I love summer, but the heat was crazy. And I like fall as well, but I hate winter, so fall is kind of like complicated for me. I'm sure many of you feel the same. So yeah, let's just move on. I did finish, in terms of finished things, the socks that I was working on last time, which are here. And this is a new design, and it is in test knitting right now, and the plan is for these to be out in the middle of September. So watch my Instagram, or the best thing to do is to sign up for my email newsletter, because I will definitely send out an email when they're released. They were inspired by Portugal, by my trip especially to Lisbon in February, and I have not named them yet. I just saw my Portuguese friend today. Hi Tanya, if you're watching. I have no idea if you watch this, so maybe I'll have to ask her. She comes to midnight. What do I do? Yeah, so I finished those. I'll let you know about the pattern and talk more about them then when they are out. And the other thing that I want to talk about that is very exciting is a sweater that I finished quite a while ago now. I finished it before July, but I haven't been able to talk to you guys about it a whole lot yet because it was kind of a secret. So I did a beta knit for the Fiber Company, who you hopefully all know. They're an awesome company based in the UK, and they have a new yarn and a collection based around that yarn that is launching tomorrow, September 1st. Yay! Which is probably when you're seeing this. And the yarn is called Lore, and the collection is the Borrowdale collection. I'll show you the sweater first, and then I'll talk a little bit about the collection. So here is my finished sweater. Yay! So this is called Lodor, and it is a beautiful sweater design by Bérangère Caillou, and she's Lilophile on Instagram, and it is really, really nice. So yeah, it's knit bottom up, and which I don't have a whole lot of experience doing, so that was really nice. The sun is like bouncing off this building over there, so I think the light just changed. There's a really shiny building. It's like blinding me. Wow. So hopefully the color's showing up okay, but I also put it on and like we'll pop in a little wow, this light is really weird, huh? This is crazy, being blinded. So while I'm dealing with this light, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the collection. Here it is. Okay, so the yarn is Lore. It's made of 100% lamb's wool from the Kent sheep breed. It's a DK weight yarn. It's awesome. There are 16 heather shades in the palette. And yeah, oh, and this is the colorway Gentle. So I haven't seen all the colors because they only used 10 of them, I believe, for the beta knit. So yeah. The collection is 21 different patterns. And yeah, there are a lot of sweaters, and a lot of the sweaters are beautiful, but there are also accessories in there, and they're really beautiful. So the one thing that I will say that is interesting is, as far as the colors, I found that the colors, the way that they showed up in all of the photography for the collection, it isn't very true to the colors that I've seen. And I've seen a lot of the colors in person because I went to the Fiber Company's thing at the H&H Cologne thingy that I went to back in March. And also I know a lot of the other people that have been beta knitting for this program, and I've seen a lot of their works in progress in person, and I don't know, just the colors are a bit different. So hopefully when they have the yarn photographed up on their website, that will be more true to the colors. But if you're interested in getting this yarn, which I hope that you are because it's really lovely, just keep that in mind. And you can watch some other podcasts and, you know, just check out, if you check out the hashtag Borrowdale collection, or yeah, I think Borrowdale collection, or the TFC Borrowdale maybe, you can see the other people that have been beta knitting and their colors. Because this one showed up a lot like lighter and more pinkish, and this is actually more purple, even with the crazy light that's happening right now. But I will insert a little video of me wearing it that I took right before I started recording, so you can kind of see how it looks on, because obviously I'm not wearing it right now. But it's a really, really beautiful sweater. I enjoy knitting it a lot. I'm not a huge fan of knitting cables, but this was super intuitive, and since it was just the two cables going up, it was awesome. It has a drop shoulder, which I really like. And the yarn is like, it has a beautiful halo on it, and it's sheepy. I don't find it particularly scratchy. If you're super sensitive, you might find it a bit scratchy, but it's very like a rustic, it's just a really beautiful yarn, and all the colors are kind of heathered like that. So yeah, that's it. Again, this is Lodor. There are a couple other patterns in the collection that I absolutely love. So yes, and yeah, I can't say enough good things about it. And just as a disclaimer, I was sent the yarn for free from the fiber company when I was asked to do this. But I'm happy to promote it, and those opinions are my own and everything like that. So they haven't told me what to say. I don't know, I've never like done something like this before, but I know people say disclaimers like that. So yeah, so look out for that tomorrow. The Borrowdale collection and Lore It's Yarn. So I'm super happy that I have the sweater. It's a bit too warm and heavy to be wearing right now, although I am wearing a sweater, but I'm sweating a bit. But yeah, it's really nice to have something like this done for when it's really brisk outside. So yes, so that is that. And that is it in terms of finished things. So I'll be talking about what I've been working on, which is basically the same stuff. So I have been working more on my, am I in the middle of a row? No. My Sahel top, which is a pattern by my friend Anne. And it was in Breeze Making Stories, the book, and it's now available also as a single pattern. So I think this light will be gone soon. The sun is like setting on the building. Sorry. But here's how much I've done. I was at the Ladybug the last time we spoke, so I've done quite a bit of work on it, although this was like right after we talked. I have not touched it in probably a week and a half. I've just been working on other things. So I don't think this is going to be, it's a tank top. I don't think it's going to be done in time for any sort of warm weather, but I can layer it. It's just taking me a long time. I'm kind of slow at knitting this pattern, but it's beautiful and I love it, and yeah, it's great. I will let you know if you have the book. The charts in the book were sadly published, the incorrect charts were published, but now there are errata and you can get the correct charts. So if you have the book and you want to knit this, just make sure that you go to, I believe it's just the Ravelry page for the pattern, and you should be able to find all of that. It might also be on the Making Stories website. It should be pretty easy to find. So there's that. Oh, and I'm knitting it out of Blacker Yarns Lioness, which is half linen, half Falklands wool, and it's really pretty. It's in Moonstone, which I believe is undyed. So yes, there's that. Next, I'm going to talk about something. I did do a little bit of work on a sock that I think I started on my trip to the US and never showed you guys. I finished one sock. This was from some leftovers, so I'm just making like a little ankle sock from Once Upon a Corgi. This is her Marie Cutie base, which I love. It's Cordale nylon, and the colorway is La Dame Death. I've already made socks out of them. I'm making another pair, and yeah, I just did a little bit of work on that. Vanilla sock, but I did a broken rib cuff. So, and my new Dubs heel, which I always do because I love it, but I'm biased. Where is, oh, my other work in progress. Oh, is in the middle of a row, but it's a design, so I don't want to show you too much of it. I've been working on this a lot. It's a shawl design. It's a new construction. Unfortunately, I have to do a lot of ripping back on the other section. It's knit in two parts because, I don't know, I worked out a little swatch and I worked out a section of it that includes short rows, and it didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to, which sucks because it's a lot of stitches, and I spent a couple days knitting on that just to like look at it and be like, oh, that's not right. So I'm gonna have to rip it out. But I'm starting, anyway, I won't tell you my thought process, but I'm starting with the other side, which looks pretty much exactly like what I showed you last time, but it's the other half. So yeah, you can't really tell when I'm doing too much here. I'll talk more about it when it's in more of a state of something, completion, something. But the yarn is Knit Craft and Knittery, her Australian Merino 4-ply. It is amazing. I love working with it. It's so soft. So I cannot wait to have the shawl. Yeah, we're troubleshooting. We're doing it. It's a lot of garter stitch. So it's a really good, like, mindless project to have. Even the short row part is super mindless. I just have to, like, figure out how to make it work. But that's my job. So, yes, we will get there. But that is in progress. Yeah. So I kind of have a new cast on, but not really. So I have a new swatch on. I got my swatch on. Ellie of Skein-Deer, hi Ellie, was here for a visit for a couple of days, and when Skein-Deer comes to town, you pull out your Holst and cast on a Damiata Lopa or the Flea cardigan. You just do. So I was kind of late to that party, am kind of late to that party, but I had purchased a bunch of Holst Super Soft in November and last year for the Black Friday sale. It's already very affordable, but I think it was an additional 25% off. So I bought a bunch and just kind of, it sat in my stash. So I pulled it out and I took the chart from the pattern and copied it, manually put it into my own charting software, and then I started playing around with colors, came up with something that I kind of liked, and then started swatching. I didn't finish knitting the chart, but I started it and then realized that I wasn't super happy with some of my colors. So then I stopped swatching it. But here's my little swatch. I haven't measured it yet for gauge. So there it is. It's like the messiest swatch I've ever done because I've just never had to manage this many colors before. So basically, what I don't like is the brown color. It's called Tobacco, and I thought it was going to be a little bit more something. I thought it was going to be more green, actually. Like, it looked kind of green in the pictures, but now it's just like brown, which is fine, but I just don't really like it. So, but I like a lot of my other colors, and I like what's going on at the top here. So yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't feeling excited about it. And if I'm going to knit, this is kind of a big deal for me to knit a colorwork sweater in fingering weight yarn that is very thin. And I was having a hard time with yarn management just because I've never done colorwork with yarn that's so thin before. So I just really want to be in love with it. So I was looking at some Ravelry projects for inspiration, and I fell in love with some of the ones that had a dark blue in them. So I ended up ordering more, and it came today. I ordered some of the indigo color. It's so rich and so pretty, and I'm not quite sure. I'm going to do some more swatching. This might be the main color, and then I might use this cream color as the fleas, or I could do the white and have this be the fleas, or I could do this is the main color and have this be the fleas. This is the gold crust color, which I already had, but I ordered another ball of it because if I'm going to have that be the main contrast, then I might need a second one. So I don't know. They would all be good options, and Ellie's like, you're just going to have to make more than one of these, which might be true, but I don't know. I like this, and I was really drawn to the light colored ones at first, but now I'm kind of thinking a dark colored one would be awesome. So yeah, I might just do the blue, but I don't know if yellow or white. I don't know. The swatch will tell me, right? So yeah, that's what's happening there. And then I also, just because I was ordering, it's like they're only a couple euros a pop, so it's pretty easy to just go a little happy. So I also got a teal because I just thought that was going to look so good with the blue. I have a light blue as well in here that you can probably see, but I kind of liked having a little bit more of a minty green thing. This is the topaz colorway. So that's what's happening with that. So I'm not quite sure when I'm going to get back to it. I don't know, I have a lot of things swimming around in my head that I want to work on. So, but hopefully soon, especially since I just bought this yarn, right? So yeah, that's that progress. And one more knitting thing, you guys, this is so exciting. I'm just gonna show you this. Look at this swatch. Isn't this beautiful? I did not knit this swatch. My friend Virginia, hi Virginia, knit this swatch. So why do I have this swatch? So I had a couple of knit things, I think I've talked about this once before, that I just don't wear and was trying to find new homes for. And one of them was my Doodler shawl by Stephen West that I knit during the Mystery Knit Along. And yeah, I don't know, like I like it, but I don't wear it, I don't gravitate towards it, and I just thought, okay, this thing needs a new home. So Virginia fell in love with it, and she was like, I want this, I want to buy it from you, how much do you want from this? And I was like, I don't know, just take it, you know, like we'll work something out. And she was looking at it, especially like the I-cord bind off, and I did the picot. There are a couple options, but I did this like crazy picot thing. And she was like, oh my God, this must have taken you hours, and I wouldn't have the patience to do this. And she was excited to have it because she just doesn't really like knitting shawls because it feels like too much knitting for her. But she's really a sweater knitter, so I find that kind of funny. But it makes sense. Like there are things that we like to look at and we'd like to have, but don't necessarily like to knit. So she was talking about this, like I wouldn't have the patience to knit this. And I was like, maybe I should make you knit me something that I don't have the patience for. Ding! And it's happening. So Virginia is knitting me a Michelle Wong sweater. I can't even. I'm so excited because I like cables, but I hate knitting them. I told her that I wanted the Andawa, and she was like, no. Too crazy. And I was like, okay, fair enough, fair enough. So she's gonna be knitting me the Knox sweater, which I will pop a picture of. It's beautiful, and for some reason only has 7 projects or something on Ravelry. Probably because it's knit in pieces and seamed, which a lot of people don't like to do, but that's, again, like her specialty. It's what she loves to do. So she's excited about it, and it's happening. And I decided that I wanted it in De Réno Natura Gilead, and I had a ball of this color, and I was thinking, I don't want it in that color, I don't think, but just I have it, so swatch with it. But then, like, I think this is going to be awesome. I was thinking of doing a blue, but, you know, I'm going to do a blue, maybe of this. Although, she said I was ridiculous, but my thing with blue, too much blue, especially dark blue, is that then if I wear, like, dark blue jeans, then I just, like, look like a blue blob. But I only have one pair of dark blue jeans, and everything else is, like, black or gray or light blue, so I think I should stop worrying about that. But it would also look beautiful in blue. One of the samples is in blue, but I think I'm into this, and I think it's the kind of mustard that actually works on me. Like it's earthy enough that it's not, and like orangey enough that it's not too like yellow, washing me out kind of thing. I don't know. I like it. So it's too late though, because my friend who's not a knitter, who was in Berlin and coming here tomorrow, I was like, hey, can you go to Yarn Over Berlin and pick up this yarn? And he did. So he's bringing the rest of the yarn to us. And then he got a ball for himself because I'm going to knit him a hat out of Gilead as well. Because I want to knit with it. I mean, it's beautiful, but I just didn't want to knit this sweater. So you guys, I'm going to have a Knox sweater that I don't have to knit. And this just, it thrills me. Like, and I was like, this is such a good idea. So I want other people to like steal this idea. We should do a knit along or something. It's like knit for other knitters and like do this kind of trade. Like, what do you love knitting that I hate knitting, and like swap. It's so awesome, right? Like, I don't know, I love it. And also I'm excited because no one has ever knit anything for me before. I've obviously knit a lot of gifts, but I've never received a knitted gift. And I just think it's going to be special. Virginia is a good friend of mine, and we've been spending, especially lately, a lot of time together, and I don't know, it's just going to be so nice to have the sweater that my friend knit for me, and like I'm always going to think of her when I wear it, which will be so nice, especially like if I move away from Frankfurt. And I don't know, it like warms my heart. I'm super excited, and I hope she feels that way about having a shawl that I knit. So yeah, I'll let you know about that, but it's like a work in progress that I'm not knitting. It's kind of hilarious. Okay, so now we can move on to sewing, right? Right? Yeah, I talked about all the knitting. Okay, sewing. I am wearing a finished object. It is my hinterland dress, which you might have seen on Instagram. I'm also wearing my tambourine cardigan that I showed last time, which I'm in love with, and I love them together. Haha. Yeah, so I will take this off and kind of show you. I'll also pop in a picture since I can't really adjust the frame. But yeah, so this is my hinterland dress. I made it out of just a light chambray fabric. I learned a lot. It was my first time doing buttons or buttonholes on my sewing machine at all. I have no head. So that was a struggle and a learning curve, but I think buttonholes are really fun. My machine was just, I don't know, it was not happy with me. But I did it. And yeah, I found the pattern to be really great as well. So the way that she worded things, and she was really specific, and like I learned some things from doing the pattern. It has a bit more ease in the waist than I was expecting. I know that it is an ease waist thing, and I had kind of this discussion on Instagram, and I posted pictures of it, and a lot of people chimed in that I felt kind of like not totally happy with it when I finished it, because I'm a small person, and like here's where my waist is. So this is all extra fabric, and it's how it's designed, it's how it looks on other people, but I don't think that I've really mastered yet, like, envisioning the things that I look at and I'm like, wow, that looks great on that person, I like how that looks, really envisioning it on my body and thinking like, not only how am I gonna look in it, but how am I gonna feel in it? And I think that's kind of the point that a lot of people perhaps missed a bit in my Instagram post, was that I know it looks fine and it looks how it looks on everyone else, but I don't feel amazing in it because it has all this extra room, and my body shape is just sort of like, I made the joke that like I'm kind of shaped like a 2x4, but it's kind of true. Like I don't have big boobs, I don't have big hips, I'm just sort of like a board. And I think for me, I feel the best and like the most confident when I kind of wear clothes that give me a shape. So usually for me, that's cinching in at the waist. Because I don't have much on top and I don't have much on the bottom. So it's like coming in and showing like, hey, I do have this waist in here, just kind of, I don't know, it's just what I kind of go for. So lesson learned, I have been wearing it with a belt, which is helping, of course. There is also an option in the pattern to add a tie waist, which again, since I wasn't really thinking about this, I did not do. And the other thing I just learned was like I could in the future modify the bodice to be tighter fitting, and instead of, this doesn't have any elastic in it, so it's just like a gathered by doing sewing basting stitches and then cinching them and gathering them in. But what I could do is I could put an elastic in it and make it like an elastic gathered skirt, which would mean that it would be more fitted, and that then I could get it over my head and stuff because it would have elastic in there. So these are all ideas for the future. It's not a lost cause. It's okay. And I think actually I was wearing it with the sweater and I like it a lot more with the sweater. I think I like it better layered with things or with the belt or something. Because even this sweater is, it like hits in a place where I feel like it kind of lends more of a shape somehow, and it doesn't look like I'm wearing a sack, if that makes sense. So I don't know, I wasn't trying to be self-deprecating at all in what I posted, but it's just like, it's an interesting process for me to notice like, okay, like this isn't something that I feel great in. I'm still gonna wear it. I'm still like proud of my work in it, but I'm kind of shifting the way I'm thinking about sewing and approaching what patterns I go to really think about what I feel looks good on my body, which is different than what someone else with my body type might want to wear. But yeah, that's just all part of sort of expressing our style and who we are, and yeah, it's kind of interesting. So along those lines, I started and finished another project that I had the pattern for and everything. And it's something that fits into my wardrobe in this way really well. So something that I love wearing are high-waisted midi length skirts, which are, like below your knee, basically. Because again, how I feel with my body is I have, most of my height is in my legs, and I have these like skinny legs, and I don't feel comfortable wearing short skirts. I'm like constantly afraid I'm gonna flash someone because I just feel like I'm super leggy. So I always feel more comfortable in long skirts that hit at my knee or below, just below is my favorite. And I like things that are high-waisted, again, because it accentuates my waist. And I have a couple skirts like that in my wardrobe that I wear all the time. I have one that's black, one that's gray, and one that's a vintage like corduroy skirt. It's a bit shorter, but same kind of silhouette. So I thought, great, let's add something handmade in that arena. So I chose, also because I wanted to go with a different fabric than what I already have, I decided to do a jersey, and I chose the Seneca skirt by Seamwork. And before I go on, here it is. And I'll also put in a picture of me wearing it, because obviously this is kind of hard to see. And I did make some modifications, but basically it's a pretty basic jersey skirt. This is the length that is in the pattern, although I hemmed it slightly less than it suggested. Mainly just aesthetically, I didn't want that long of a hem. It has pockets, which I love, and it also has this like side panel in it, so it gives it a bit more like flounce on the bottom. Okay, so I didn't hem it as much as it said. I was supposed to top stitch on the inside of these panels, and I did that on one of them. I hated how it looked, and I pulled it out. I don't know if it's the fabric or what. It just like was creating bulk, and it was kind of like puckering the fabric a bit, and I just hated it, so I took it out. And then the other major thing that I changed was the waistband. So again, I'm gonna pop in a picture of what the pattern looks like. You're supposed to have elastic and a drawstring in the waist. So I went and I bought a drawstring, even though I was kind of like, I hate the one that they chose in the pattern photos because it looks like a shoelace. I just don't think it's aesthetically pleasing. But I found this really nice like marled black and white drawstring. And I started making the band, and I'm gonna put in like a close-up of this because it's gonna be hard for you guys to see. It turned into a hot mess. I ended up just recutting it because this was horrible. So I had to put in these eyelets, which I had never done before, but that was fine. I watched a YouTube video, I did it. But then it wanted me to sew like right above and right below them. And I put them exactly where they said, and I was sewing at the seam allowance that they said, and it just wasn't possible because this is a really thick thing, and the foot of my machine like wasn't gonna go over it or around it or whatever. So it ended up being like a hot mess. Plus it told me to zigzag stitch, and I don't like how it looks. It looks like sloppy and crappy to me. So I took out one of the zigzag stitches. I did so much ripping of zigzag stitch, it drove me nuts. I tried a twin stitch on the top, which looked nicer, but I ran into the same issue. And then I put it down, and I went over to my friend Virginia's house, and we were talking about it. And after talking to her and like looking at the pattern photo again, I was like, I don't like how the waistband looks. It just looks kind of crappy. And I have pajama pants that have the same construction where it's elastic, drawstring elastic, and it works better because it's a thicker fabric. But I thought in this like medium weight jersey, and the pattern calls for light to medium weight jersey, it would just look bad, and I wasn't excited about it. So then I thought, okay, screw it. So I just got a piece of wider elastic and just made an elastic waistband. So I mean, that was really easy. I just put it around my waist to the measurement that I wanted it to be, sewed the waistband to the skirt and threaded it in, sewed the elastic, hand stitched it up, and I'm done. So I am much happier with how that turned out. I just think it looks nicer. I might try something like that again in the future, again maybe on pajama pants, or if I was sewing with something like French terry or ponte or like a heavier knit, I think it would work better. But I think that this is a much classier look to it. And I love that it's high-waisted, and I tried it on with one of my hand-knit sweaters, and it just looks perfect. So I'm really excited about this. It's like perfect. It's just a mauve skirt. I was thinking of you, Kristen, of Bullivine, when I was sewing this, because it's just like mauve-alicious. But I would make more of these, again, just with the modifications that I made. I kind of want to make one in like an emerald green, like a forest green or something like that. Just because, again, like jersey is so comfortable. It's like secret pajamas. It's amazing. So that is what I've done in terms of sewing, and then I picked up some fabric as well. I showed it on Instagram. It's black with these little, like, they're just kind of like irregular little flecks of white. And I'm going to make another bateen dress out of this fabric because I have a bateen dress that I made last year out of lightweight jersey. The pattern, it's a Tilly and the Buttons pattern, and it's designed for woven fabrics. But she has instructions on the blog. If you just search like bateen dress jersey in Google, you'll find it, on how to do it in jersey. I wear that dress all the time, and I love it. I get so many compliments on it, and I want another one. So, and I really wanted one that's really neutral. That one's like heavier patterned, although I like, it's sort of like a neutral patterned, if that makes sense. But I just wanted one that was black but had a bit of patterning on it, and I think this is just going to be perfect. So yeah, I'm going to make that soon. Yeah, it's really the first time that I'm making a second one of something like that that's going to live in my wardrobe, but I mean, I wear that dress all the time, and I'm repeating myself. I'm going to love it. It's going to be great. I think that's it, you guys. Yeah. Life stuff. Is there any life update? Ellie came to visit. That was fun. I went to Barcelona. I talked about that in my last episode, and you have seen some of that in the intro. My good friend Jason was there for just really the first day, unfortunately, because my flight was canceled going there, so I lost a day of my trip. But we had fun hanging out, and then the rest of the time I hung out with my friend Virginia, who's knitting me the Knox sweater. She's Venezuelan, and she has friends from Venezuela that live in Barcelona, and I stayed with them, and like, I love them. We became really good friends very quickly, and we went to Sitges and went to the beach and did a bunch of, like, ate amazing food. It was an amazing trip. I had never been to Spain before, and I really, really loved it. So I went on a Rhine cruise with Ellie of Skein Deer, Caitlin of Wool Jewel, who lives nearby, and her friend Shira, who I met at UIF, and that was awesome. It was a really early morning, but it was a 3.5-hour Rhine cruise, and this part of the Rhine has the heaviest concentration of castles in all of Europe, so like, it was awesome. We just sat there and knit, and we got some food, and we started drinking before noon, like you do. It's a weekend, it was okay. And it was just a really lovely day. Yeah, then the Venezuelans from Barcelona were in Frankfurt, so I hung out with them here. So yeah, I've been keeping busy and like having a lot of social stuff to do. I have an audition next week. Keep your fingers crossed. Anyway, I did my taxes, my German taxes, party. I don't know if they're right, but they're done. Oh my god. So anyway, that's just kind of what I've been up to, and I think that's it. So I will let you guys go. Thank you so much for joining me for another podcast episode, and I will see you in a couple of weeks. So happy knitting. I hope the weather is nice where you are and that you get outside and enjoy it, and I will talk to you very soon.